Counselors Craft a Curious Path with Ruby and Olivia.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Ruby Miller, a multidisciplinary artist, singer-songwriter, therapist, and wisdom seeker with a background in opera, ceramics, and photography.
And I'm Olivia Candosia. I'm an actor, theater director, voiceover artist, early childhood educator, and drama therapist. We are both neurodiverse therapists who strive to infuse more wonder, authenticity, and joy into modern life. We're here to share our hearts and stories, and in turn, listen to yours. Here we gather with you to craft the curious path of life, therapy, and art. Welcome and co-create with us.
Welcome, Olivia.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi. Today, we had a lot of fun last week with playing with the High Priestess archetype of the Major Arcana, and this week we were thinking about diving into motherhood, and one of the major, well, essentially the Major Arcana symbol of motherhood is the Empress, which is the third tarot card. She's number 3. And we were thinking about
Caitlin,
sort of talk.
Can
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you share with us why that's the card you wanted to explore?
Yeah. So I am considering my own journey as a mother now, and that's been coming up a lot lately, and sort of tapping into the inner mother. There's also lots of, other reasons would be like you could describe what's happening now in society as like a crisis of masculinity, but and I'm working with the Real Mom Hub, which is a podcast I guested on recently, with doing a 5-part series of tapping into your inner like mother voice, which I think we're gonna call matrescence, like your inner matrescence, which is like the period of time between like knowing you're going to be a mom to becoming a mom, so that like liminal space of like developing your identity as a mom. So lots of like motherhood themes, considering my own potentiality of being a mom, trying to help other moms, talking to moms, all the things, loving my own mother. Yeah. Yeah.
I I'm like, I don't know, curious if there's a topic you want to bring up before we go into like a role play of this, of like what that transition does look like. Like, what are you thinking differently about now?
Um, One thing I was thinking about was how to hold a sense of everything's going to be okay, we're going to figure it all out as a mom, because I feel like I met with a friend who is a mom over the weekend. I visited her and her 2 children, and I got this sense of like, oh, when you're a mom, that sense of like things might be hard right now, but we'll figure it out is way more important to like hold inside of yourself than if you're a single woman who's like, things aren't okay right now. We might not be able to figure it out because you can like afford the cost of the freak out. And I don't mean that like negatively
Mm-hmm.
towards myself or anyone else who deals with anxiety of that type, but I'm like, wow, it would be really great if I could work on that part of myself that like comes up and gets so nervous. So in the future state of being a mom, that more of that could be held as like, yes, I feel afraid, also I feel excited, or I feel afraid, also I feel hopeful that things will be okay, as sort of like
Mm-hmm.
being like an
Does
anchor.
does even like considering that thought now change the way you're acting and behaving already?
Yes, it does.
Yes. Sorry, it's a little delayed, so
Oh,
I'm
okay,
making
cool.
sure I can see
Yeah.
your face. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
How so? Give me some examples.
Um, it immediately makes me feel more calm. It makes me feel more confident. Would it be good for me to change what into different headphones, or do you think it's the internet connection? What do you think?
It's more Wi-Fi ish.
Okay, yeah, I'm connected
Yeah.
to Ethernet. So I think that's the most I can do right now, which I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep
Continue.
going. Yeah, yeah,
so you're
thank you.
so you're calmer. You're calmer now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling calmer. Um, with that thought, I'm also feeling more brave. I'm also excited, like the idea of, oh, I could grow into the type of person where, like things that I might now be able to consciously say, yes, this will likely be like resolved in 2 days. Things that I could even say that now, that I would feel more of a sense of immediate calm and like, I believe this will be resolved in 2 days. Like that would be like an initial thought that would come up and I would feel more relief. So like, let me try to
Mm-hmm.
think of a recent example. Oh, like we're in an old house right now that has like ants sometimes. And we saw carpenter ants in the dining room. And it actually happened even in the context of living in this home. When I initially moved in, I was like, oh my gosh, ants are really bad. If we wait another 48 hours, it might be twice as many ants. If we wait 72 hours, it might be 100 times more ants. And like, the ants will be such a big problem, and the ants will eat all of the food, and they'll ruin the furniture, and like, or whatever. Like, just like additional, like, layering of like, up, 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 up to then now being like, okay, I've seen 3 carpenter ants today. I saw 5 of them yesterday. That's less. Do we want to do something about this? Like, this isn't pleasant. I don't like this. It's not great. If it gets worse, that's not great either. But just like, what do we want to do? Like, I think it goes more towards like when Brandon, our boss, talks about cognition versus environment. Like, it goes from cognition, which is like worry and thoughts and like upping the ante and thoughts, into action, which is like, what do I want to do about this? Oh, I want to text the exterminator we know to see, what do you think about this? Do you think you should
Yeah.
come? Like, what's your expert opinion? Whatever. So, um, just immediately more calm and like, oh, here's the other thing, Olivia. I also feel more of a sense of purpose and direction in life. Like, if I know this is
Oh,
a
okay.
place, yeah, like if I know, almost like when you choose a career that you're happy about, like if I know the identity of a mother is a place I'd like to go, then I have like more of a compass to like navigate the world with, similar to like, oh, I decided what I'm going to major on in college. I know what jobs I'm going to apply for after college, or like I have more of like an
Mm-hmm.
idea of how to like decide how to use my time and how to like navigate the extensive amount of
Yeah.
possibilities in every moment.
It points that arrow in a different. Yeah. Um, we will interview you, but I want to talk about my experience because I am not
Yes.
planning on having a child and anytime soon, for many reasons, finances being a big one. So I've been in the process of like looking at egg freezing and what that looks like. And
Yeah,
egg
yeah,
freezing
yeah.
is very expensive. Um, and so I was looking at a program who you can do it for free if you give half of the eggs that they receive to a family in need, and they'll like
Mhm.
match you up with a family, so you know the family that it's going to. But for a while, I was very reluctant to do that. I was very like, this is my body. These are my eggs. Like that feels very scary to give up a little bit of Olivia. Like that feels
Yeah.
really. I don't know. It sat with me really strangely. But then my friend from college is going through a lot of infertility right now, and she had a
Oh.
post on her TikTok of and just like really heartbreaking stuff in her being asking people like, do you know any places that like offer infant adoption or like donors that we
Mhm.
could go to, blah blah blah. And I think seeing someone, and I know it's like, yes, I know that people go through infertility problems, but seeing someone I know go
Oh
through it
yeah.
and like see her tears and like hear her journey made me like more open to the idea of doing
Oh.
that. Uh, so I'm kind of in that journey of like, okay, within the next 2 years, I'll probably be doing that route. And
Oh. Yeah.
it's weird to think about, but also kind of beautiful. Um, yeah. So that's where I'm at in the
How
fertility and
exciting.
motherhood journey. Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird though. It's like so many things you have to learn about now. Um,
Yeah, yeah. What do you have to learn
yeah.
about? Tell me more.
Oh, I mean, like, you have to like take injections to like
Oh,
induce like what it would be like if your eggs were dropping, so you can get the most eggs out of you.
hmm hmm
Yeah, things like that. But just wanted to share that tidbit of like a little bit opposite, but still similar of like wanting to point my compass in that direction of becoming a mother one day and wanting to ensure that I have a healthy baby
It's
the best
interesting.
I can. Um,
It doesn't feel like the opposite to me. It feels very similar. Like,
it,
whoa, there's so many
yeah,
things to shift about like being
yeah,
confident that you want to have children. Like, there's so many things to shift, even if you're not. I mean, one, no one can be sure, I guess under really specific circumstances they could be, but no one can be sure of when it's going to happen or how necessarily. But also just like all of the decisions that are made up to that and like I don't know, it feels similar. Yeah. I'm a little surprised you
yeah.
thought it was the opposite.
Perhaps it is. Maybe because you're like you seem much more like tomorrow I could have this baby,
hmm
where I'm like
Yeah.
I want to wait a little bit. So I guess in like different phases, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
curious
I'm
what
not
you want to.
sure. I'm not sure when it'll happen or when it'll be intentional and yeah, so that's I guess that's
Yeah,
a clarification for yeah,
yeah.
we'll see.
So you want to tap into this kind of motherhood character today. I'm wondering how to do that. If there's
Mhm.
something like top of mind or I don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
thinking like if we were to hear from the Empress, the third major arcana tarot card, the symbol of like the divine feminine that's more um like open versus like giving versus receptive. Like receptive is the high priestess, giving is the Empress. Like what would she be saying? Um
Yeah,
and I feel like we could frame it in the context of my life, but we could also frame it in so like what would we want to interview her about and what comes up? Like what questions would we be asking her?
sure. Okay. So give yourself like, I guess just like ground yourself for a second, breathe a little bit, and then think about like 3 words to describe her. And you can share
Radiant,
those words too.
radiant, confident, life-giving,
And
vivacious.
you can embody. You can embody her. How would her, shoulders be? How would
Not the way
her
my
chest
shoulders
be?
are right
How
now.
would
Yeah.
the best of your ability?
So much better. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Chin.
hmm
The chin up versus chin down. You said open, so I'm picturing more
hmm
open.
hmm
Um, and then I'll just ask her some questions, I guess, and see.
hmm
Hello. Hi, priestess.
Wow.
Welcome.
Empress.
Hello. Empress. Oh my gosh, you're right. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
last
yeah.
week.
No, it's
So
okay. It's okay. We're
sorry.
all good. We're good.
You all blend together sometimes. Hello, Empress. I am curious what you think your purpose is. Like, why are you here?
I think today I'm here to help Olivia and Caitlin celebrate entering a new phase of their lives and how beautiful that is and how it
Mm,
can be scary, but it's also very powerful and exciting. And I want them to like see like the sunshine of that, like the beauty. I want them to bask in the beauty of
Mm,
the fact that they have bodies that can give life. Like, how
mm.
amazing are we? How wonderful.
Do you experience fear
Yes, I
as the
do.
Empress?
Yes, yes. But I think a thing that at least I don't see Caitlin do as often is holding the fear with a sense of, I know this too shall pass. Like, fear is not a permanent state. Fear will pass, like, the sun will shine again, the clouds will open up. Um, and also, like, how embodied I am with nature. Like the forest keeps growing, the moss keeps growing, the mushrooms are still coming up, the birds are singing. Like
There's
it's
hope,
going.
yeah. And so, what are those? You said this too shall pass is like kind of like a message that you like whisper to Caitlin. What
Mhm,
are some other things that like you try and remind her or whisper in her ear?
mhm. I actually don't think I whisper. I think I'm more of like a
Okay.
hello, like a I want to be heard. And I'm very like
Ah.
confident and I'm not elusive at all. Like I'm present. Like in the card, it's like this long curly hair blonde woman with like a rose encrusted robe, and she's like likely pregnant, like sitting in a throne, but like on like a clearing of the forest. So like there's a lot of sun. Like she's not hiding at all. She's just there.
Oh, so
I'm
you are
there.
seeing, you are speaking.
Yeah.
So, what are those things that
Yes.
you're saying? What are those things that you're saying? And then has Caitlin ignored those before?
Um, what am I saying? I guess I thought that we just talked about what I was saying, so I'm getting a little lost in that. Like, the
Yeah,
this too shall
you said
pass.
this too. Mm-hmm. But other like other narratives, that's one of them. But like, is there something else that's
Oh,
like, girl, you got this, or like something?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, allow the beauty of nature to help you heal. Enter nature, submit to nature, explore, find like wonder. I'm picturing like a little girl going on a hike and seeing like a beautiful patch of moss growing on a log with like a little bit of sunset coming between the leaves on the trees, like this idea of like this like wondrous little gifts of the forest. And I'm thinking about how like abundance is everywhere, like the earth is filled with abundance even when it feels like you're
Mm-hmm.
on the Arctic tundra. Like the world is filled with abundance, and I am like a vision of abundance. Um,
Yeah. So, if you are present and you are this vision of abundance, can you tell me about a time where Caitlin has been existing and you, like a very specific moment, and you have said something to her and tapped in? Because right
she
now it
was
feels very
walking,
vague to me, so I'm just
yeah, yeah,
curious.
yeah. Um, she was laying in bed, falling asleep, and it was 2 nights ago, and she was nervous about fertility and motherhood. And I was just sort of like sitting in the room with her present in this like light and this groundedness, and she could like feel it, and she was communicating it. Like she not how do I say this? She could feel what I was feeling in my body. And there was like a comfort and a warmth to that. And then she was like receiving sort of the energy of like, everything will be fine. You can continue on this journey. You can trust the future even if the future is unknown. And I
Mm-hmm.
and the message was essentially Caitlin, you'll figure it all out in your journey to becoming a mother. Like you'll figure it out. It will be beautiful, it will be hard, but I believe in you and I want you to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Caitlin was sort of like the body feeling for her changed. It went from like tension and stress and like clenching and sort of cowering to more of just like relaxing into sleep and feeling really grateful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna reverse roles with you and be the Empress, and you can be Caitlin. And I want to know where you're at now, Caitlin. Where are you? You talked to me the other night in bed, and you felt better. What's going on now?
I'm honestly feeling a little afraid of this episode coming out and people hearing it and people thinking that what we're doing here is too strange. And I'm wanting to like add a bunch of
Is
caveats
what?
of like, oh, is what we're doing here too strange? So like I think I'm sitting
Oh,
in fear and it's hard for me to hold
oh,
it as like Caitlin. And I think that like a thought
sure.
that came to me is wanting the Empress when she was talking to add a bunch of caveats of like Caitlyn didn't hear the voice of the Empress. Caitlyn wasn't like thinking
Mm,
that there was a ghost in the room as that like I kept wanting to
sure,
add
sure.
like yeah. So
No,
I'm
that's great. And
afraid.
I think, yeah, and yes, it's agreed, agreed. Had thoughts like that too, or like, okay, are people gonna know what the hell we're doing, why we're doing this, whatever. And it's funny because before we started this episode, you said I want to do more play like we did last week, and play can be very uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
And so kind of we can ignore. We don't have to do the Empress anymore. We don't have to do the role play, but maybe we can dig into that like discomfort and wanting to be understood. Something going on there that we want to explore.
hmm Well, a thought I'm having um is that that's one of the big reasons why I'm we're doing this group together is I think that there are very few spaces where people can enter a role and say whatever is on their mind, even if the thing they're saying is like, I guess in this example of our role play, they could be like, is Caitlin schizophrenic? Like, I'm not. But that like saying things that could be so controversial to certain people that it could just be like stigmatized by society and blah blah blah. And so I think that right now is actually really useful for me because it's putting myself in the position of like a participant in the group that might be being interviewed as the Empress or whatever we decide to do. It's probably not going to be exactly the same, but like, well, it won't be exactly, but anyway.
Right,
But
right.
so so yeah, and I think there's something kind of heretical about it. Like, we're not supposed to have multiple characters in our head. That's supposed to be crazy. Like, we're not supposed to use tarot. We're not supposed to believe in tarot. Magic isn't real. Like, all these, like, things that I don't believe. But, like, a lot of this is quite alternative. And for us being therapists and talking about this publicly, and so yeah, I think there's that thing that like a lot of artists will talk about before they do like the album that really got them on the map, where they're like, I really wanted to do what felt fully authentic to me, but I was terrified. And when I did it, like I'm never going back and it feels great, but it was really scary to like do something that
Yeah.
is unique. Like I don't think I really know of any people who are doing the things we're doing in the therapy industry and what we're like set out to do with like this tarot group, for example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like feel like I have so many thoughts, but also I can't hone in. So I'm just feeling like very rusty on like leading like a drama therapy exercise right now, so I'm feeling like very self-conscious about that. But yeah, doing. I mean, like I reached out to I reached out to some children's theater companies about wanting to collaborate, and I offered a couple like bullet point ideas. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, is this gonna resonate? Is this gonna? But I don't know. The right people will come along. People surprise me all the time. I'm wrong all the time. I did a stream on Monday where Brandon wasn't going to be there, our boss that I typically do it with, and he's like, "You have to either do it alone or find somebody to do it with you." And I was like, "Brandon, no one's going to want to do it with me. No one." He's like, "Olivia, you have 3 people who want to do a podcast with you. Just ask." And so I did. And like two people immediately were like, "Yes, I want to do it with you." And it was this weird like, okay, like yes, I feel like an oddball and a misfit and like I'm doing things a little weird, but some people are going to gravitate towards that or be curious even if they don't like it. Like it's okay to just be curious about it.
Olivia,
Also,
I'm honestly so
gonna,
proud of both of us. Oh, keep going. Sorry, I think there's a delay still. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm proud of us too. Or the other day at the hospital, the behavioral hospital I work at, I was leading a drama therapy group, and I was just doing drama games with people, and I was asking people how they felt about it, whatever, and I could sense that there were a few people that didn't enjoy it. And so I had said, "Did anybody hate this?" And one person was like, "Yeah, I did. It was dumb as fuck." And I was like, "Awesome. Let's talk about that." And I don't think I would be as confident. I don't think I would have been as confident a year ago being like, "Okay, let's talk about it." I'd be like, "Oh no." But like, it was cool to take a step back and be like, "Oh no, it's okay that someone didn't like it. I don't have to be liked all the time, but we can still have a conversation about what you did and enjoy, what you would suggest, and like evolve from that." I don't know if that's relevant to what we're talking about, but it feels relevant.
No, I do think it is. I think that you and I are trying to do things in this tarot group that haven't been done before, and I think it's brave of us to be practicing it literally publicly and just to see how it plays out because like there isn't there isn't a path for this. Like there's like drama therapy, which is not about the tarot, which has like many different things. But like if we talk about like IFS doesn't include archetypes, it doesn't include like specific like channeling of like messages that aren't specifically like a part in the system. And so like
Mm-hmm.
I I do think that you and I playing this out is like a gift to the group and like clients to feel like how does it feel to be put in a spot where like you are either playing the therapist who's interviewing an archetype or you're playing the archetype and you're like, whoa, what happens here? And like, what do we do? And so like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the question like, did anyone here hate this makes sense and it could come up. I will say that I playing the role in this, like in the role play of like what the client would play, which would, well, I don't know. I can think about doing groups where one of us plays the archetype and then we bounce around and play the archetype with other people. But anyway, that's a whole separate thing. But all that said, um, I did not hate it. I found it useful. I think that there was a delay. There is a delay in the thing. So then some of the pauses between, I think, made it harder for
Right.
me to focus. So that's like a technical thing. And then also, I feel like
Yeah.
last week there was more like spontaneous excitement about like channeling and talking
Yeah.
to the high priestess. And this week it felt like talking to
Yes,
the
I feel.
empress was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel so much more heady today. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard for me to just like let go and like I don't know. I was just thinking too hard trying to interview. I'm like, what the? I did like it was resonating for you in the beginning, but I was having a hard time tapping into whatever role I was playing. Um, yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think about like us facilitating the group and it's like we could think of like certain questions to each to like ask an archetype, but also it could be like a asking the client, like, how is the Empress showing up in your life, like, today? Like, what would she be saying to you? Or, like, in this major life transition
Totally.
you're talking about? Like, so I think. I think one of the reasons why it was easier to do the High Priestess last week is it felt like there was more direct connection with my life, I think.
Yeah. And also like you're saying, different interview questions or just asking the client how it's showing up. I'm even thinking about the games that we design that like have to do with just tapping into that naturally, and like there are so many
Mhm.
other ways to do it. We're just not doing those in this. And to I think I was also feeling self-conscious of like, I promise it's not all just this. Like this is just what we're showing
Oh,
here.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
there is a way to there's a way to map out like, okay, in the space you're in, how close is this archetype to you? Are they on your shoulder? Are they way in the back of the room? Are they behind the door? Like that's other ways to explore it too. Or like, finding the mantra that they're telling you or what you keep saying back to them. Like there's just so much more. And maybe I'm just in that heady spot right now and feel more like talking about what the interventions are versus actually doing it. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
I think, also like our group, it's going to be 90-minute sessions where there's like a warm up and like an intro, and we talk about the tarot and we talk about the archetype, and then multiple activities, and then we like do a cool down and
Yes.
like a ritual. And so
And
there's a
that
lot
warm
more. Go ahead.
yeah, that warming in phase, like when we were talking about establishing the group, is so crucial to it's like a lot of people talk about client resistance and they just weren't ready, but it's like no. Like we weren't warmed up enough, or like that wasn't the right intervention. Like listen to what the people are giving you and also warm us in. Like it's hard to just jump into a character without doing the acting warm-ups, or that's why I gave you like three words to kind of tap into. But like
Hmm.
there's a reason actors do vocal warm-ups, there's a reason actors stretch their bodies, there's a reason athletes stretch before they run. Like
Hmm.
it's hard to just do. you know
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and I do think like it seems like you were judging what was happening more than how much I was judging it until I started talking about laying in bed and the Empress like connecting. Because actually, one of the things I was thinking is some of the things that happened, the thing I was describing, I do not want to be recorded on the internet. And so I'm also thinking about the
Sure.
power of like group therapy where it's like confidential and it's not being recorded and no one's so like there's also that beauty of like I have
Yeah.
clients tell me things that they've never told anyone and they also never plan on telling anyone else, and that's like a beauty of like the privacy of therapy. So yeah, so I
Yeah.
think like if it was literally still you and me and it wasn't being recorded, I could have gone
Yes.
deeper as well. So,
Yeah, it's very interesting to record a podcast or a stream and to practice that authenticity and say what's on your mind, but then also be aware of it being public forever. I think about
mhm,
that all the time. um,
mhm,
sometimes I watch things and I wish I like had held back. Um, and I had talked to Brandon about this because I'm just gonna say it. I did a web series that I'm like a little embarrassed about having still out there.
mm,
And Brandon, our supervisor, I was like, I want to take it down. I want to take my name off of IMBD. Like, I just don't want people to see it. I feel embarrassed by it. That's not who I am anymore. And he was like, Olivia, I have a clip of me from like, I don't know exactly what it is, like from college or something, where he's like shirtless as a character. And like, he said it's super embarrassing. And he's like, but like, yeah, that was me forever ago. And like, if someone doesn't want to work with you because you did a web series when you were in college, then like, who fucking cares? Like, that's
yeah,
okay. That's fine. You want people who like want you for whatever that is. And that
mhm,
was really kind of healing for me to be like, okay, you're right. This isn't as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be.
mhm. That's really beautiful. Yeah, I'm thinking about demonstrating for clients too, particularly clients who are creatives, in some way that like your art 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even a year ago could look completely different than it does now. And I was just thinking, like, when you were describing it, I was like, I had the idea of what if I did a page on my website where I just talked about singing and I put up a video of me singing at like 13 versus like 18 versus 23 versus now, and to talk about like the development of an artist. So I also think there's something to like Brandon being like, yeah, that was my identity as a singer at that point. That's how it played out, and it happens to be recorded. And like, look at how far we can come. And maybe some of those things we cringe at, maybe some of them we eventually like have deep reverence for. Like, oh my gosh, look, that was little
Yes.
me. Like, ah.
Yes, I saw a thing online that was like, everyone said it was cringe until this, and it was like Chappell Roan singing on the street, and then her at like a big concert, or like Justin
Yes.
Bieber, you know, being on an interview, and then like him on the stages. It's like, yeah, you're right. Like, we gotta do those cringe things, or things that we think, things that bring us joy, even though it might be uncomfortable, because you can still feel joyful and uncomfortable. You
Oh yeah.
know?
Yeah, and there's something about
Yeah.
like what you and I keep trying to do, which we are doing literally now, is like put yourself out there even if you feel afraid. Like we were saying before, like you can hold the fear of, oh my gosh, I'm putting myself out there. Maybe in 5 years I'm going to like want to like meh this episode. But also, I'm practicing putting myself out there because I want to change the world. I want to make the world a better place. I want to make
Yes.
art. I don't want people to
Yes.
just hide, and I need to practice putting
Yes.
myself out there.
Yes, it's that like that establishing phase is so hard. I mean, I think all phases are challenging in their own way, but like especially with this podcast, like the first five where I'm like, I don't know, we're just kind of just talking about stuff. Like, is there any like value here? Like I'm getting so in my head about like, where's the value? We need it immediately. Like, let's get it. But it's like, no, it takes time. And yes, there is value in that stuff. Do I want it to be different? Sure, absolutely. But like the only way to make it different is to keep going. You know, stopping is not the answer right now. It is to explore and flop and fall on our face and make an episode where there are 0 listeners. You know, like it's
Yeah. Yeah, and also I feel like they're like what this is kind of pulling a Brandon, our boss, but like what would make something a flop? Like, because to me, the idea of one person listening to it and laughing, even if they just listen to the first 5 minutes, still is making an impact on the world. Like, I want people desperately to be happier and experience more joy so we can like have sustainable energy to like change the world, because the world needs us so much right now. People in need, like need, like so to me, like I think there's also a humility in being like nothing can really be a flop because it's not the sort of like the industries we kind of grew up in, like entertainment, art is like a flop is you don't get the part, or you get the part and you get a bad review, or you get the part and you don't get cast again, or like you get the part and no one claps for you, or there's a standing ovation for your like other lead but not for you. And so like so much comparison and about like money and prestige. But what if like there isn't a flop in this context, and maybe you and I have both been pulled to do professions where it's not like that, and we're also pulled, you and I, to do therapy that is very playful, which means like flops, it's either always a flop or it's never a flop, sort of like flop becomes
It's
like it doesn't even matter.
I've been learning. Yesterday I had couples counseling, and my therapist told me that I have very black and white thinking for myself, and I was like, oh, I can think that about other people but me. But she was right. Like it still is this very like, I'm either good or I'm bad, I'm either successful or not, I'm either liked or I'm hated. And it is just so valuable to practice this and realize like just because someone didn't listen to an episode or like the episode doesn't mean that I suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this we're building so many skills for ourselves here to be better and do better or be more effective next time we, I don't know, interact with a person anywhere.
Yeah. Did you hear specific feedback from a person? Is that the context this happened in, or was that just like a random example?
What do you mean? Did I hear specific
Like,
feedback?
did this, sorry, I'm trying to follow if you were giving the example of like an episode is a flop because someone said they didn't like it, like if that's a thing that literally happened,
Oh,
or if you were
gotcha.
giving
No, no,
that
no.
as like a, okay. Because I was thinking I was going to ask
Yeah.
you more questions about it if it actually did happen, because I'm curious about like, and this happens with clients too, when they give me feedback that could be considered negative, like, how can I learn
Mm-hmm.
from this? Or like asking that person, what would you want to see? Like, what would asking them about a positive goal they have? Because sometimes that can be a
Yeah.
really beautiful way to be like, oh, we're kind of on the same page. Like, wow.
Yeah. It's funny. I was telling Brandon that like because I got to do a stream with somebody else and I had so much fun. And Samir is like, Brandon's holding you back. Like, it's so boring with him. Like, you gotta, I thought it would be different with you, but whatever, whatever. And I was telling Brandon, and he's like, that's your fault, Olivia. Like, if it's boring, you can make it not boring. Like, do something about it. And I'm like, oh my God, he's right. Like, I do have control in this. And it's the same thing in the podcast of like, oh, if I'm not liking something that's going on, I have to like change it or say something or do something, which is what
Hmm.
we did for our sixth episode, where I'm like, I think we need to hone in on something because I am like feeling a little lost. But realizing that we have the power to change things and speak up. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, and also, I'd love to hear more about feeling lost because I feel like that could mean so many different things. And I wonder if the solution is honing in on a topic or if you're assuming that's the solution.
I think I am assuming that's the solution, even though I do find much value in like just tangenting and connecting because I think we are very good at that of like there is a through line secretly through everything we're talking about. Um, but I sometimes get anxious about how listener friendly that is. Of like, are people going to be able to track or like that is something that makes me get in my head. But then
Oh,
again,
okay.
it's me
So,
thinking like, how do we get good?
so does that mean that there's there's a like you have a thought, which I think this is totally reasonable, but you have a thought that a person that starts an episode and ends the episode and enjoys it is a person who can follow it relatively easily, and that the more tangents an episode has, the less likely a person will listen and enjoy it.
That's my theory, but I don't think it's correct because I know I have listened to so many podcasts where like sometimes I don't get through the whole thing. That doesn't mean I hate the host. Sometimes they do tangent and I love it. So I think I'm just self conscious because this is so new that I'm just like trying to find a secret formula to like. It's the whole like I'm trying to get listeners or views versus just doing the thing and then seeing what happens. I'm just like so focused on
Well,
like I want to get recognized.
yeah, a thing that's interesting to me is asking the question like who do we want to help, and part of why I wanted to do something similar in this episode to the last one is I was like, how empowering could it be for someone to hear two people who are therapists, which usually people have some respect for the profession and likely they would if they're listening to the podcast, but who are therapists talk about things where they might be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea another person would think this, or another person would be interested in like identity development and tarot. Because there's a lot of like hiding in like witchiness and magic and play and like being an adult and playing and like channeling and like all these different sort of like esoteric things. And so like I thought to myself, oh, there could be something really good for like a person who's maybe afraid of a part of themselves or like trying to tap into more like strength and power to be like, oh, there's like a unique and creative way to do this, which is like taking an archetype that they identify with being like more of like how they want to act and channeling it and talking to it and seeing what it says to them, that like that honestly, like a lot of people who identify with having like anxiety and rumination and spiraling and anxious thoughts, like part of it is that they are essentially interviewing an anxious part of themselves, and that anxious part of themselves is like the president of their like city or their country, and
Right.
the president is like, hey, everything's going to be awful and I'm in charge. And it's like, no, there could be like a high priestess, like can we talk to her instead of
Right.
like
Let's,
the president that's so angry and anxious.
yeah. Committee, we're going to change the rules in here. You are not in charge anymore, anxiety. Like, you can still be at the table, but you're not going to be the president. Yeah.
Yeah, and also that like there's something pretty woo about rumination and anxiety and talking to anxious voices, but it's so normalized in society that like can we take that same like function and that same impulse but have it be more generative and positive and empowering, which is like interviewing different parts of ourselves that like have things to say that feel good to hear.
Yeah. And recognizing how each one does serve their purpose. And it's not this black or white, bad or good thing, but sometimes you can quiet a voice, and we have that power.
Yeah, or like you can,
Um,
if all you've been hearing from is the anxious president, you can hear from other parts of yourself that like can take up space too, and it doesn't just have to be dominated by like one voice and one narrative.
I would do like a TV show exercise with people where like you've got a remote and you like literally mute that character. Like you're on mute. We're gonna fast forward over here and like have them act out those things. I have
Oh
that in my
yeah.
Amazon wish list right now is a pretend remote.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That would be fun to play with on an episode too, because I also think there's something about like many people don't have the time or the energy or can't afford to engage in therapy. So it's like, how can we spread out these concepts so like you could do it with yourself or your friend or like whatever,
Yeah,
like it doesn't have to happen. And so the more those things are like brought out, the more people can do it and share it with people they love, and like it helps
yeah.
us like get out of
I
these
mean,
boxes.
yeah. Realizing you can press the pause button on yourself. Yeah.
Mhm.
Breathe. Okay, rewind for a second. Say what I just said again. Like, I have always been fascinated in time. There's a playwright called David Ives, and he has just like short plays written all about time. And a lot of them, you like click the bell and then it rewinds, and then the same situation happens, but a
Woo!
little bit different. And I'll have to show you his book. I'll send you a clip maybe too of me performing one of his pieces. But it's just like when you can play around with something that you literally can't do in real life. Like I can't pause a conversation I'm in, but I can pause my thoughts for a second and engage in a new conversation with myself. It's like we talked about last week. Rehearse something a little bit differently. I don't know. There's something to this that I
Well,
don't have fleshed out all the way, but
yeah, and also like if the high priestess or the empress are like archetypes of female, like feminine power, then like what if we normalized tapping into like our inner wisdom versus like just talking ad nauseum about what we're anxious about? Because that's what's normalized in the culture is like, what are you anxious about? Why are you anxious? How are you anxious? How long have you been anxious for? What are the anxious thoughts? Like, it's not that different. Yeah.
yeah. No, there's so many beautiful things here, and I feel very grateful for you because I'm like, oh, you're giving so much beautiful content, and I'm feeling a little self-conscious that I like am not. So I'm
Oh,
just grateful that this is a duo. I don't know. I'm feeling very self-conscious right now. Um,
I'm so
but
glad you're
not
sharing
embarrassed
that.
because I was, yeah, not embarrassed because I'd be crying. And I'm not crying anymore. I'm crying a lot less though, actually. So that is telling me that I'm not as embarrassed as often, but I do feel a little self-conscious in this moment. Um, and maybe I'm just thinking like, oh, you don't know a lot about tarot and Caitlin does, and so I'm getting in my head about it. It's the same thing when I do the stream with Brandon where I think, oh, this is his company. He's the one people are here to see. But as I was doing the stream and saying that on the stream of like, I feel like I don't get to be my full self here, the commenters on the stream were like encouraging me and saying that I do have value, and that was like really sweet. But that's why I want to tap into the Fool card next week, because she's still so prevalent.
I'm so yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, I've perceived this conversation as like Olivia says something from her perspective, which is like actor, director, drama therapist, Olivia as a human, and Caitlin says something from her perspective, which is like therapist, singer, musician, witch. And so like it's interesting. So
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from, but I just want to let you know that like I have not been thinking, oh,
yeah,
Olivia isn't offering something as high of value or whatever. I don't even know what the phrase would be.
yeah. I forget that, like, I mean, I'm dating someone who literally listens to black metal music. Like, I do not listen to that music. I forget that you can still bond with someone, even if you don't have literally the same exact interests. There is overlap, and it is okay to not immediately be like, oh, tell me more about that. It's okay to, like, just relate. Everything is okay. Everything can work. It's not a bad thing that something is skimmed over. We're excited to share about our own self and parts and experiences. I don't know.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, me too. But I also wish I knew that earlier, but that's part of learning, right?
Well, but I think that's also good modeling for listeners is like, hey, there are going to be moments in a group, particularly a group setting, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, where it's like, oh, that group member just said the most profound thing. Does that make me stupid? Or like, oh, that group member, that like exercise came so naturally to them when they were talking about like their queer
Yes.
identity and exploring it. It just like flowed from them, and look at me, like who am I? And so
Yes.
I think part of it too is like lifting each other up. Like I gained a lot of value from the things you said in this episode, from how you interacted with me. I felt very seen. I felt like last week was amazing for like my own journey as a human being outside of being a therapist or doing projects with you or doing this podcast. And so like thank you.
Yes, and thank you. I felt very nurtured. I felt like your motherhood figure was there already. Like, I just, I don't know, there's this softness, and I really did feel like your client in some moments where I was like, wow, she is so amazing. Like, I felt very lucky to be in this space with you today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
playing. I want us to normalize play. There we go. We're normalizing play.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, so
I'm
do you want to
gonna
start wrapping up?
yeah, let's wrap up. I'm going to come up with not come up with, I'm going to look at some of my documents that have a lot of my play drama interventions to see what I can bring
Yeah.
into the virtual space for us, because I think that would be fun. That's a fun homework
And I
assignment for
would be
myself.
happy to be
But
your
yeah,
guinea pig. I'll do it. I'll do it with you.
please,
Um,
please.
but yeah, so
Yes, let's
we
wrap
are
up. You're good at this.
yeah, we are so happy to have you all here with us, and we would love to hear any topics you're interested in. We're doing a tarot group that's open to worldwide participants, using tarot to explore identity, and Olivia and I are launching it. So if you're interested or you have any questions, you're welcome to contact us at the time you're listening to this. It may already be happening, but we're hoping to do it many times over time. And yeah, we're both therapists that work at a practice called Effective Artistry, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.